Others come to Colombia to enjoy life. They had to come here and not have to. Go out into the wild and experience starvation in its purest form. 10 smart guys from out of nowhere. I'm going to be here for 21 days. Work in pairs to experience this sweet double row. I don't know if it's sweet. Who loves to eat this pain anyway? Maybe you don't know what's going on here. In the tropical highlands, the heat and the sun are all very welcome. They have to get naked and get a tan. There's no excuse for not getting sunburned. They were all excited. He didn't take the difficulties lightly. Sure, you're not afraid of your neighbor falling in love with you. They don't have enough meat for a full meal. Look at everyone's happy faces. Where does it look like going for a challenge? It feels more like a return to the challenge. You know, it gets ridiculously cold at night. Even if there was a fire to keep them warm, they just won't listen. Can't wait to tell the driver to go faster. Now I want to shred the clothes that are in the way. Show off your attractive body. There's a bit of a crocodile infestation. It is said that this is the time of year when meat is at its best. They are ready to enjoy the feast. Dude, are you sure it wasn't a crocodile? How can I persuade you now? They have arrived at their destination and begun to unbind themselves. He said he was too embarrassed to show it. That hand is not at all idle. If not back to wear. I'm afraid it's been torn up by now. But for one thing, without the protection of clothes, it's really easy to get caught by mosquitoes. If it's not clamped down, it was just too beautiful to imagine. No one looks very hungry. I don't know how many people can stick it out. According to the schedule of previous shows, it's a combination of men and women, pretty much looking forward to working together. After all, it's cooler at night. I mean, it's almost impossible to make a fire. It's better to hug each other for warmth. No wonder everyone's so excited. In the southwest Alligator Passage area, Art is on his way to meet his partner. She doesn't expect much from her partner, as long as we can get along. Naak thought the same thing. It doesn't really matter if we win or not. Just enjoy nature in the midst of a challenge. I earned it on this trip. Soon Art met his partner. I'm pretty happy with a handsome guy. Look at the muscles on his body. Cutting and hauling lumber must be no problem. That's kind of fun first meeting. There is no problem in communicating with each other. Yet didn't think Naak was pure MOEHSN. He also learned his wilderness survival skills by watching short videos. It suddenly felt like the challenge was getting a lot harder. Naak is confident in his ability to build a fire. Give him a firearm, you'll set the forest on fire. Dude, you're out here trying to survive. Or you want to set the mountain on fire. Look what you got here, huh? Except for the iron pot provided by the show crew. Art brought fishing tools of his own making. She's not an angler. Just wanted to come and learn. Really is a happy man. Machete can be said to be everyone's essential equipment. And a firearm is enough for 2 people to survive in the wild. The show set them up for the river. Simple communication followed by immediate action. That's where the crocodiles are. The weapon on the alligator's hands is a little weak. We have to gather materials as we go. Let's hope we can get it and make it into a weapon. Art has some wilderness survival experience, but not many. A score of 6.7 is very high. She knows what to eat in the wild. There's just no guarantee of taste. Naak is a travel internet celebrity. Often share all kinds of strange local food. His favorite food is wild bugs. I just have a lot of diarrhea. Slightly lower than your partner. The two were stop and go on the road. There's a lack of firepower phobia. Always trying to gather more materials to take with you. It really took a long time. Let's take a look at the Eastern Valley area. Jose is on his way to meet up with his partner. He's not as excited as he was at first. Start to worry that the challenge will take a surprise. Uneasiness ran through my mind. And Nala was in hot shit. Can't the show find a better place? The challenge has not even begun to sweat a lot. Meet up with your partner and get away from here. The two soon arrived at the meeting point. You could wash your face with that sweat. As much as I want to get out of here. But the show asked for introductions. Just chatting in the sun. Nala doesn't think there's anything to tell. I'm going to fly you and it's over. That's what Joseph likes in a partner. Nala is a professional mountaineer. Know how to live in the wild. A score of 6.5 can be described as average. She thought the show was underestimating her. I hope my partner can help. Let's slap the director's face into a pig's head. Joseph is an outdoor experience traveler. Has unique insights into fishing and hunting. The rating is a whopping 7. The show has a pretty good opinion of him. I don't need to explain the machete. Without it, you lose half. What's interesting is that Joseph also made his own fishing gear. Is it expensive to buy from the supermarket? Is there any fishing guy who can explain? The map shows a river. It's the only way to get water. Plus, there's a lot of palm trees. Perfect for them to set up home there. The place they chose was rich in food. It's also less dangerous than other players. Theoretically, the most promising to complete the challenge. There were many sharp stones on the road. Even though Joseph trained barefoot, a lot it still hurt. Worried that Nala might hurt her foot in the rush. You have to be out in the sun all the time. I'm afraid I'll dehydrate you in the first place. Anthony in the Northeast is on his way. He is not a superficial man who starts at the level of appearance and is loyal to the numbers. I wish I had a stronger partner. In relaxed body fat, friendly communication. As it happens, Alba seems to fit the bill. How about survival? Based on the thickness of her body fat, at least there's an advantage in starvation. The rest is really hard to say. We just have to see what happens next, okay? Anthony didn't realize he was making a pun. It's about finding a comfortable, fat partner. Don't worry about catching cold at night. After the two had said hello, right there laughing awkwardly, Anthony claims not to be a very good survival coach, but it must be a late-night plumber. The show gave him a 704 rating. Alba wasn't interested in any of that. People used to say they wanted to lose weight to survive in the wild. Everyone else is just playing with memes. Come and experience it for real. Let's see how much weight we can lose in 21 days. What you probably didn't think of, Alba wasn't just an engineer, yoga instructor, and plus-size fashion model. You don't know how to survive in the wild. The show only gave it a 6. See if Alba can reverse that rating. Basically, the equipment doesn't make a difference. It's a fishing tool that turns into a mosquito net. Just trying to keep the bugs at bay and get a good night's sleep. Personally, it's better than fishing gear. At least get quality sleep. The show arranged for them to go to the hunting area. There's going to be a lot of stuff there. If I can take my chance. Freedom to roast meat is not a dream. You could get a stick nearby to help you. Alba thought cutting things would be easy. I didn't know there was so much in it. Cut it down diagonally. It's effortless and quick, even with Coach Anthony in charge. Alba still hasn't learned. It's literally the worst class he's ever had. Alba said it was the knife. I can't even admit I cooked it. Let's take a look at the south side. Deli's praying for a beautiful woman on the way. Do people just want to finish the challenge? What he doesn't know is that the show loves the whole thing. Just arrange for Gurney to meet the man. The director said it was not his dog. It's that Gurney is shy around women. That's why Deli was sent. Such a thoughtful director must be praised. They didn't realize it was a man. The challenge is full of surprises. The funny thing was before Derry came. I've seen Gurney in online videos. Don't get me wrong. It's a serious survival video. Deli doesn't smell like a female partner right now. This free survival coach partner. Direct savings on training costs. Gurney talks about being shy with women. But the moment I saw a man, the heart is literally broken into several pieces. Anyway, how about seeing the gear first? Funny thing is Gurney brought a paracord. It's not just a rope. You can take it apart and weave it into a fishing net. It's kind of a wilderness survival tool. Others are more common, although the water was closer to them. But it's getting dark soon. We'll have to build shelters. They don't have much time. They didn't know until they talked to each other. Dury's still a big boss. I like to go to the wilderness on vacation. Living alone is not a problem at all. Do you know why it's 701? Is he still a hidden god? And Gurney works as a wilderness survival instructor. He doesn't like to go around naked. It's really easy to get hurt and get infected. It's only 6.8 when it's very strong. It's an amazing scoring mechanism. Soon they were in the thick jungle. The biggest problem inside is humidity. The temperature will get even colder in the evening. I can't stand a little weakness. There's only one more act left to introduce. Sarah came in at the highest temperature. She could smell the flesh on her body. There are many thorns on the ground massaging the feet. Really do not recommend Jime to experience. She made it look like this before she left. I hope the photographers and editors know better. Don't miss my beauty. Furley has to be a lot more careful. Feel the way with a stick as you walk. A distance of less than 100 meters was 10 minutes. It was very careful. He is the oldest of all the players. Maybe not as physically as everyone else, but the experience of life will help you smooth out the difficulties. Watching partner Sarah come over to say hello, I was feeling a lot. She happens to be the same age as her daughter. Worried that I'd be tempted to preach. Especially this pair of horns. Really want to stop? Let's focus on the survival challenge. I hope the two can successfully complete the challenge together. Ferry was a young man who often ventured into the wilderness. I also have good experience in using tools. 7.5 minutes to win the game. There's nothing wrong with it except physical strength. Sarah is a rock climbing instructor. I also like to go out into the wild. Her young and strong body is her greatest advantage. Too bad she didn't score very high. It's up to them to make up for each other's challenges. Feely says the challenge is not difficult. Just listen to your own advice. Can definitely make the partner experience the joy of the wild. Sarah has blind confidence. Those clear, stupid eyes gave Ferry a little headache. I hope there won't be any major problems. Sarah was the second contestant with a mosquito net. The main thing is the show crew doesn't bring fishing nets. It's the only alternative. Ferry, that's more common. Next up is the water source. Just about to decide where to go later. Sarah just felt a little heat stroke and needed a break. Dude, you're not going to go home right after the start. Ferry now feels more helpless than Sarah. Sarah was on the verge of tears. It's still a long way from the water. I don't know if she can hold on. Artside has reached the water source. That's why it smells bad. Only the fruit has any use. Apply it to the wound to help it heal. Nah, I didn't expect you to know so much. Let's see what we can eat around here, okay? He felt he didn't have to worry about going hungry for this challenge. Nothing to eat was found. We did find the remains of a crocodile. Judging by the level of decay, it should have happened within this month. I guess we need to be careful around here. Sarah's the only one that's been quiet so far. Ferry had to sit back and worry. We can't rest any longer. Force Sarah to get up and move on. Try to get into the shade. Hopefully it'll make your body feel a little better. How happy Sarah was when she came. How sad it is right now. It's not just heat stroke and dizziness. And face the thorns below. The speed of the two men moving forward is very slow. Feely could only help as best he could. It's like a father-daughter adventure. Well, I didn't expect. Sarah will cut herself with her knife. Boy, this is all going to work backwards. Sure, she's serious about this challenge. Fortunately, the problem is not too big. Take the time to get into the jungle and set up shelter before nightfall. Ferry's under a lot of pressure right now. I'm afraid I won't even have a place to sleep the first night. Anthony found mud on his way. This will keep you from getting sunburned. It just smells a little bad. It's like playing in the mud when I was a kid. Alba needs some time to get used to the smell. It does feel better with the new skin. They know there's plenty of food in the jungle. I didn't expect to find fruit so soon. These will rehydrate you. I'm sure we'll find more to eat. The two are growing more confident. The Nara team is collecting as much dry wood as they can. After all, the humidity in the jungle is a little high. Tired. A little tired. But it would certainly help with the fire. It was supposed to be a long walk. I didn't realize that was a water source. The two men hurried over at once. The deli team has found a suitable place to set up camp. It didn't take long for Gurney to figure out how to set it up and take action. Doree likes a teammate like that. It really saves a lot of agonizing time. The problem was he was all about the fire. Gurney wasn't so impressed. The shelter should be built first. It's just too humid out here. Building a fire takes a lot of time and effort. Thanks to Deli's continued efforts, the fire was finally lit. Gurney's face started to feel a little better. To his surprise, Doree almost put out the fire. They have different ideas about survival. It's kind of hard to match up. Gurney is more of a team player. I'm just a little bit of a rebel. Likes to work alone. Dude, why don't you go live alone in the wilderness? I really would have been laughed at. Found a new source of water on Art's side. There is no time to dwell on it. We need to get that shelter out of here. It's a natural home with a little cleaning. Art had the structure in mind. I'm sure she can do it. I just need a little too much material. The two need to get the shelter ready before dark. It's a little difficult. There's also the problem of bugs. If it's in direct contact with the skin, I'm afraid there's going to be a big problem. It's really not sloppy at all. Anthony's got a water source, too. It's this shit that's a little disturbing. The shelter's a little further away. They don't want to be the neighbor's late-night snack. There's a lot of material around. Under Anthony's command, we've got the broad outlines. Then it's just a matter of improving. It's just that Alba's wearing out a little fast. After a while, I was out of breath. The Sarah team finally found water this way. Heat stroke and dehydration are not good. Now the water can only be cooled on the hour. Let's see if we can make a fire and boil some water later. The first priority is to set up shelter. There's not much time left for Furley. Sarah is still very weak. There's no way to count on it. The worst part is she can't use a machete. It's hard to cut some branches. I don't know what to say, you know. Ferry had a big problem with that knife, too. You didn't even cut anything and you got a knife mark. Now don't talk about gathering materials for a shelter. It's hard to get firewood back. Sarah doesn't know how to comfort you. I still have a knife I can use. The most important thing is to maintain a positive attitude. At least get the shelter out today. Furley had less than a day. It feels like an old teenager. Even the simplest shelter failed. Looks like they're not going to make it. As soon as the Nara team finds the right place to work, you don't have to communicate. The structure was soon settled. In the process of building, Nala discovered that Joseph was not as powerful as she had imagined. Whether it's gathering materials or building shelters, just a little better than a rookie. He still doesn't admit his problem. Nara says, leave it alone. I don't want to fight on my first day. It's hard for Joseph to have a strong partner. There will be more conflicts in the future. It was dark by the time the Yat team finished the shelter. I don't know if we can make a fire tonight. They spent a lot of time on it. I'm worried about breaking the fire starter with too much force. I had to give up the fire. Stay up with the gnats till dawn. Anthony's shelter is only half done, although there's a fire nearby. But all the nearby animals came close. I'm going to be out there all night freaking out. Joseph was so thirsty. Venture out to fetch water from the river. Man, aren't you afraid of getting bitten? I wonder what will happen next. Let's look forward to it.